were putting up bricks on offense, but man, you could not run through a brick wall against them on defense. The Pittsburgh Steelers are insanely good on defense. Honestly, I feel personally, maybe I'm overhyped on the Steelers on defense this year. Unfortunately, the Steelers ran into a buzzsaw at the end of the year. I think the team kind of fell apart. Rudolph and the Duck weren't getting it done on offense. They couldn't run the ball. Injuries. Defensively was getting beat up a little bit as well. But the Pittsburgh Steelers, out of all that last year, okay, even though their offense did not score more, I don't think they scored 28 points in one single game on their offense. Their defense was lights out at times. I mean, 13 touchdowns on offense the last 10 games of the year. The defense had to really step up and make plays. And it wasn't like Pittsburgh's special teams was better, right? 31st with kick returning, although their punt returning was like third, I believe. But the Steelers, like I said, they are going to be fully loaded. We think we have some good linebackers in Nashville. Steelers got some pretty good linebackers as well. And one of you said Blitzburg, because that's exactly what they did. They were like, through the season, they're like, okay, what could we do to get better? So Watt on one end, they had Dupree on the other, and they were saying, just go get the quarterback. 30% of the time on every play, the Pittsburgh Steelers would have someone get to the quarterback. That is an unbelievable stat. 30-some% of the time, their defense would find somebody to get on the quarterback. Again, their outside rushers, 26 sacks or something. That's the first time since 2008. Woodley was on one end and Harrison was on the other. You guys remember those Steelers. Titans and Steelers was supposed to be the AFC Championship game. Unfortunately, the stupid Baltimore Ravens got in the way, and they basically took us out, and the Steelers got a cakewalk to the Super Bowl that year. But that was 2008. We haven't seen that from the Steelers since then. But, we saw last year. And that makes perfect sense. What's the one area of concern for the Steelers on defense if you're going to blitz all the time, right? Or you're going to send those guys off the edge, they're going to become gassed. So we'll get into their draft picks. What do? They went in and got some guys. So, again, the ultimate question, you guys have said it here first. Big Ben Roethlisberger, is he healthy? Is he healthy? That's the question. Because if they don't have Big Ben, I'm not really sure what they're going to do. I don't. They tried it this year with Rudolph. Okay, he was okay. The Duck, I think they fell in love with him because they just despise Rudolph for some reason. They didn't really want him throwing. Again, talking to some Steeler fans, they felt like the big issue with Rudolph, they didn't allow him to throw the ball down the field. And when he came in the Jets game, he started to bring them back from life. But by then, guys, it was just kind of like too late. And they ended up losing that game, opened the door for us, and the rest is history. Titans walk into the AFC Championship game. So, Tomlin, like I said, coming back for his 14th season. Unbelievable to think of. Never had one losing season. I mean, that is remarkable. Not to have one single losing season. But we'll get into a little bit of their roster. We'll give you a score. We'll get into a little bit of the keys, and then we'll move on. So, let's get into the Steelers a little bit. This is what we see from last year, and you see the flaws. I mean, you see the flaws across the board. The offense is just terrible, and the defense is really good. I mean, they led the league in sacks. They led the league in turnovers, second in interceptions. I mean, the Steelers were making it almost impossible not to lose if the offense would have just did something right. And you can ask any Steeler fan, they didn't. They didn't. Now, they did put together a bunch of wins in a row, but you remember they started like 1-5 or 1-4, and then they started to pick it up a little bit. But definitely, I mean, you lose your starting quarterback, most of us aren't going to be. The Titans lost Tannehill. It would be tough, right? So, did the Pittsburgh Steelers go out and get a quarterback? We'll get into that for the draft. Offensively, red zone, just terrible. I mean, that's one area the Titans excelled in. They did not. 32nd in the league. My goodness, that's awful. Third down percentage, 26th. But again, like I said, their defense was very, very, very good. Now, when we look at their roster, if you guys want to chime in on this, they went out and got the left guard from the Chiefs. I don't think he's that great. If you go and watch videos of people breaking down the Chiefs offense and where they're going next year, a lot of them weren't too thrilled about their left guard to begin with. So I don't think the Chiefs really care about it, and I don't think The Steelers, this is like a long-term solution. The issue with the Steelers, guys, is running the football. That's what they want to do. That's their main focus this year, is to run the football. Now, Big Ben will come back. He'll do the no huddle. He'll call plays on the line. We know that's going to happen. But still, running the ball is a vital piece in the Pittsburgh offense. And now that you don't have Antonio Brown, it all falls on Juju. And we heard the hype. But for the most part, Hayward and Tuitt are studs in the middle. They really do make that thing go. And here's the scary part. Tuitt missed because of injury. So, and then they also got lucky. Like, I'll be honest, there are a lot of Steeler fans that were not happy they traded their first round pick for Fitzpatrick from the Dolphins. But now look at it. I mean, he's up there too. I mean, they had him higher than Byard as well, I think. But, you know, he really showed up and he was really good last year. So you would take a first round pick for him in a heartbeat. Now, if you're looking at the Steelers, you add their linebacking core. There's a lot of people that are extremely high on TJ Watt. Some aren't as high on him. But again, him and Dupree putting up 26.5 sacks or whatever it was, that's very impressive. Vince Williams, I don't know a whole lot about him, but I know he's one heck of a run stuffer. So again, I mean, he's going to help that help that 15th ranked or 14th ranked rush defense. But I mean, it's hard to throw on him. They brought in Nelson last year as a free agent. He really worked out. Hayden's 31, getting a little bit older, but for the most part, I think he is holding his own. Steelers defense, highest rated one I've given so far. As far as their draft goes, again, they didn't have a first round pick. They did have the second round pick where they took Claypool, 6'4". I think he runs a 4.42. It's a big upgrade for them to put on the outside. Now, there are a lot of Steeler sites or whatever that don't think he's going to start, may not even start midway towards the end of the year. I think he will at some point. He'll be opposite along Juju. And then, they do have some other talented guys, that are fast. Let's just be honest. They're fast and can make some plays. So it's, again, rookies. They didn't have an offseason, unfortunately. They'll be a little bit behind. It seems like they do have a lot of running backs that are pretty good. So they're going to be able to offset if Connor's not going to come back fully effective like he was in 2018. But if you look at, Dotson, they go for a guard. Probably didn't get a lot of experience playing top-level competition. But they're very high on the linebacker from Charlotte, just for the simple fact they need somebody to go along with Dupree, and they need someone to go along with TJ Watt, because if these guys are coming off the edge consistently and not playing pass coverage like they traditionally did, they're going to get gassed. So they needed somebody else in. The guy from Charlotte, he can make plays, but again, the competition, and we know this from Titans fans, is Nate Davis. It took a while for him to gel. It's going to take these guys even longer to gel with missing so much time. Quarterback, a lot of people think that's a mistake because perfect time to groom them. We know if Big Ben goes down, the two guys underneath him, yes, Rudolph was like 5-3 on the road or something like that, but is Rudolph or Hodges going to get you to the playoffs? They didn't last year with the top 5 defense. I don't think they're going to do it this year. 19 of 22 starters coming back for the Steelers. Only team in 2000, we already mentioned this, that did not score 28 points. That's simply amazing. Boswell had a rebound year. 29 of 31 is pretty legit. No miss extra points. All the signs are Big Ben has had conversations with many outlets, many newspapers, and Big Ben says he feels no pain anymore. So up until this past season when he got hurt, he's always had some pain in his arm. Said it's fully gone, and he thinks he's going to come out. Now, are we buying it? I mean, a lot of these guys say that they're fine, they're rebounding. I remember Eddie George with the toe. I mean, he would always say, yeah, I'm fully ready to go, let's go. And then that toe really set him back. He was never able to get it back. So, I mean, that is going to be quite interesting. Hey, we lost a couple dislikes and replaced them with some likes. So maybe I won some of you over. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and we talk football. It's fun. It's exciting. Let's go. So, focus. They want to run the ball. And here's the thing with the Steelers, okay? Schedule. Giants, Denver. I think they can win those 2 games. Then they play Houston at home. Then they play at the Titans, Philadelphia at home, and Cleveland at home. There's no reason why the Steelers could not be 6-0, or, of course, we get them at home at Nissan and they're 5-1 before they play the Ravens. So that's something to look out for. If the Steelers or start the season like 2-4, 3-3, they're going to have a lot tougher down the road, especially to go to Baltimore to end the 6-game stretch. But again, if you have that solid defense and with the teams they're playing, I know there's always going to be a hidden gem in the mix. I still think the Steelers will at least be 5-1. So I don't know if you agree or disagree with that. Next year, do you think they'll be the top defense? This past year, it was the Patriots. Honestly, looking at the Steelers now, and if Big Ben comes back, I still think the Steelers will be better than the Patriots. I do. They have better linebackers. I think they're better up front. And, with Fitzpatrick on the back end, call me crazy, but I think he's better than Devin McCourty. So I actually like the Steelers. I know they don't have a Gilmore, but I like the Steelers a lot on defense. I think they're going to be very, very good. If you're not going to give them top 1, they're at least the top 2 defense. I don't know if you agree, disagree on that one. Running the football does wonders, and that's what Pittsburgh's looking to do. That's what they're definitely looking to do. So they got a new quarterbacks coach. Rumor is they're going to do some more motion stuff. But for the most part, Tomlin, very solid coach. He'll be back, and, they play the Bengals twice. I think they play the Jaguars. I mean, they play their fair share of teams that aren't great, but I still think even when they match up versus the Ravens, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers win the division. I think they are better than the Ravens.